too. All right, well, if Madden wants to be a buggy mess, let's see what the NBA side of things does for us. Now, again, I set up the teams off stream to keep it pretty straightforward. Your Omaha Airmen this season. We are going to look like this. So it's Francis Baxter now as my #1 point guard with Eddie O'Brien behind him. I had Diego Barea that I drafted last year. He's a stash player. And Kenny Weaver will be down in the G League. Shooting guards, Jared Page, Mladen Olic, Lambros Balidas has made the team. Forwards, Kenny Snow, Mitch Steele, Kevin Thomas, and then Brandon Mullins is down in developmental. Power forward, here's the big move. I have moved Dylan Bledsoe to power forward. You also got Darren Gooden in a depth role. And then at center, Herb Dixon and Havel Sita. So my lineup looks like this. We are going with the youth. Franny Baxter, starting point guard. Shooting guard, Lambros Balidas. Our forward, Mitch Steele. Power forward, Bledsoe. And a center of Herb Dixon. With Sita, O'Brien, Snow, Gooden and Page getting some time as well. But I am going with the youth of Lambros Balidas and Mitch Steele to see if they can develop there. So I'm pretty happy with that. For you guys, you do have a decision to make, right? Because your team, as we talked about, it's Campbell and Humphreys at point guard with Jermaine Westbrook down in developmental for the season, which I think is a smart move. Introduce Humphreys this year, Westbrook next year. Shooting guard, Charlie Haynes. You got Travis Bradley at shooting guard as well, and Lulu. At forward, Lothar Kramer, Todor Sicki, Brooke Wesley, and then Quinn Lambert down in developmental. And a power forward, Vlad Lekic, Trent Griffin. Center is Keefe, Lyle, and Banks. So the problem that you guys have is similar to me. Who do you get the playing time to? Now, right now, it's not necessarily worth setting up your lineup because it registers Lothar and Vlad Lekic is injured. But we are going to have some decisions to make for you guys here very, very soon. So we'll wait for both of those guys to show up as healthy. And of course, again, player mentorship and all that has been taken care of. Did that off stream to save time. See if I can sim through that date and see if your guys are healthy here. And they are. Okay, so we need to set up your lineup. Right now, it shows up as Campbell, Haynes, Kramer, Lekic, and Keefe, which is what you guys agreed on. Todor is the 6th man. Humphreys gets some time. Wesley gets some time as well. Bradley also gets some minutes. I mean, if you expand the bench to 10 people, then Lyles is promised time. And that just means that Lulu, Banks, and Griffin are depth players. I think that's your best option. So any disagreements to upping bench depth to 10, it does drag down the minutes for your starters, but it gets Lyles some time. Bench utilization's already towards the bottom, but any disagreements with those being your 10? Honestly, I'm pretty sure that's what I would run if it was my lineup. That looks pretty good. You'd get a good mix of your younger players being in the lineup. And again, your starting 5 is as good as it's ever been. So we'll run with that, unless you guys want to end up changing it. Power rankings this year, Omaha, at least on NBA.com, slotting in at number 9, whereas you guys are still going to be down there in 27th. You have yet to make the playoffs, so we will continue to follow you. At this point, this is your story, chat. My story is pretty much done. I have an NBA title to my credit. I won the challenge. Now it's just a matter of, can you guys find any success, and will I find more success in the meantime? And you are off to a pretty good start to this season. And I might have jinxed it. Let's see if you guys can finally make the playoffs for the very first time. Looking good. So far, so good. That rotation doesn't seem to be an issue. 5th in the conference. Sounds like the Celtics. They call you the Celtics of the West. The Celtics of the Pacific. I mean, you guys are looking damn good here. Damn good. We'll stop at January 1st. But barring a horrific collapse, this has to be your year. You currently have the third best record, tied for the third best record, almost just about. You have a half game on the Mavs, but the third best record in the Western Conference at 20-12. Omaha at 19-14, third best record in the East. So both teams are looking good. You guys are 14-4 at home. The game plan for you guys. Campbell and Haynes are playing well. Let's look at the stats. You guys are looking pretty good. So it's Lothar leading the way, 17 points a game, just over Vlad Lekic. Travis Bradley is currently hurt, but he is a depth scorer for you guys. Horace is averaging 15 points a game. That's the best he's looked. He's almost averaging a double-double. I mean, you guys are finally scoring. Rebounds a game. It is Keefe. It's weird that your forward's out rebounding a power forward. And a power forward has a higher assist per game number than your starting point guard. Man, Vlad Lekic is an all-around great player for you guys. For the Airmen, it's the Herb Dixon and Dylan Bledsoe show, which you are already well aware of. Herb's averaging 16 rebounds a game and 24 points. Jesus. Unfortunately, it's been a really rough start for Mitch Steele and Lambros Belitis. It makes me wonder if it changed over my coaching game plan, and it did. That's not what I asked for. Okay, so I need to try to edit that. Options. Staff management's fine. Lineup automation. We'll turn it off. I guess it's adjusting it because of injury, but it's not what I want. I want my younger guys in the lineup, even if it means I don't make the playoffs. So I kind of wish I remembered what exactly I had it set to. Get Belitis in there. Get Steele in for Snow. Get Thomas, Olich, kind of in depth roles. Get Page some time. Get Gooden some time. Definitely drop down the time. Snow gets. Jesus died for our Cynthias. I mean, you're not wrong. Alright, there we go. I'm better with that. Why is this song ripping off of each? I don't fucking know, because it can. Shout out the non-copywritten music, dog. And then for you guys, that's basically the lineup that you wanted. That's good. Just redo the minutes though because of the injury. All right, cool. So both lineups are set up then. Let's move on. We do play each other on the 25th, but I'm not as worried about that. In Omaha, leave rotation as is. Thank you. We'll do that as much as we can. Bradley is fully healed. For you guys, you can adjust the rotation manually. Just do it that way. That way Banks, Little, and Griffin are on the tip. Leave rotation as is again with O'Brien. So we might have to be a little bit more hands-on to deal with injuries, but we'll do what we got to do. And this has been a horrible start to this month for you guys. Oh my God. Jesus, when are you posting the next Patriots video? Hopefully soon. I keep forgetting to schedule them out. We'll have, man, you guys lost Tommy Campbell as well. That's awful. Whew, boy, this has been a free fall for you guys in January. Jesus. That was about as bad of a month as you guys could have possibly had. You're still technically in a playoff spot, but you're only one game over 500 now. Omaha at 28 and 22. That was a god-awful month for Omaha. Kramer's still your leading scorer. Lekic behind him. And again, for me, it's still the Herb Dixon and Dylan Bledsoe show. Steals, points per game, as well as Belidas's are going up, which is nice. Stanks, not Stonks. Alright, cool. Let's keep going here. We'll keep following you guys. Again, this season is your story. We're going to see if you can finally make the playoffs for the first time. As Herb Dixon's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Right knee tendonitis. That is, that's rough to deal with. Definitely means that Habelsita, it's a lot more playing time. And we'll drop Dixon down for Gooden. We'll also get a lot more playing time. It's a shame that Herb got hurt, but what are you going to do? No Herb Dixon for me at the moment. This is about the breeze. You know, we're looking at the Airmen currently, but we will until the All-Star break. So you guys have lost Charlie Haynes. With the draftees last year. So I think both of us put both of our new boys into the minors. So. All right, Herb Dixon is back. Good. Good. Good old Herb is back. Needed that. This is the final game. Oh man, it's still a pretty rough month for you guys. You're now 9th in the conference. So we made it towards the All-Star break. 2030 All-Stars. Vlad Lekic was on Team Luka. I think that's the first ever All-Star you guys have had. Vlad Lekic as a rookie makes it to the All-Star break. So that's promising. I mean, again, sin for me, I drafted Diego Barea, who's a stash player, and Kenny Weaver, who was in the minors. The Breeze took Jermaine Westbrook, who was in the minors, and Quinn Lambert, who was in the minors. And again, the morale definitely kills the overall for players who aren't happy being in developmental. So the playoff picture in the West, if the season ends today, Honolulu just makes the playoffs. You have a half a game on Golden State. You guys went from looking like it was a guarantee to it is not a guarantee. In the East, Omaha currently the 4th best team in the Eastern Conference. So through the month of March, you guys have some pressure. We need to start seeing wins. And for contract extensions, let me see if there's anything I can do here, because for the most part, it always shows everybody is not eligible, except for me, Eddie O'Brien. There we go. That was something I always kept forgetting to do. Let's sim to about the midway point of the month. God help you guys if you miss the playoffs again. I'll leave my rotation as it is with Mitchell. So he's now back. All right. God, 500 ball right now. Belidis is day to day. He's just outright out of the lineup. Swap him with Eddie O. Damn, come on. And then swap Belitis for Olich. Eye patch guy, I saw that as well. Crazy. You guys are in serious trouble here if you don't start going on win streaks. Well, I'm so glad it made me change the lineup for all of one game, all of one day. So why I tried to, this is why I tried to avoid this in terms of having to edit stuff, but doing what we have to do to make sure our best players stay in the lineup. Oh my god, you guys might actually choke this. Oh my god, it's not even funny anymore, man. You're down into 11th. If the season ends today, you missed the playoffs. The Airmen are currently 3rd in the East. How? How are you guys on the verge of missing the playoffs? My god. I mean, the only answer, of course, is to play your stars a little bit more, but it's not as if the depth that you guys are playing are bad or anything. We'll drop it down to 9. That'll get the minutes up. Honestly, shit, you might have to go into playoff mode and drop the bench depth down to 8. Start playing your stars. You guys are in fucking playoff mode right now. This is the best team you've ever had. It's an incredibly well-rounded team. But unless you have a great end of the month of March, you're going to be in trouble. Can you hire a better coach? You cannot, as Herb Dixon goes down to injury for the 2nd time this season. No hiring better coaches. I'm not allowed to do it, nor are you. So another big injury to Herb really does not help at all. What the fuck are you on about, game? Thank you. Jesus. As Herb is day to day, we'll leave the rotation as he is until he's fully healthy. He'll be back just in time to play you guys. Lucky, lucky. Lucky, lucky, you guys. Can't you believe how lucky you are that you immediately get to play Herb Dixon? Can you guys win it? You don't. The Airmen win at 137-127. You guys are going to have to run the table in April or you're... Oh my god, you guys are going to miss the playoffs. You are currently 2 games out of the last play-in round spot. The Airmen currently occupy the 3rd spot in the East and have already clinched a play-in round spot. Oh my god. I can't believe this. You take on the Rockets and lose. You take on the Suns and lose. The Pacers. You finally win one. Oh my god, I can't believe you guys are going to miss again. You're 3 games out with 4 games left. Guys, you just missed the playoffs again. This is unbelievable. You'd have to run the table and need a lot of help to make it. And that should do it. That loss to the Clippers should do it. It's done. The Honolulu Breeze will miss the playoffs again. They have never made the postseason. Not once. I don't know what it's going to take. As you get a look at the season stats, the all-time stats. I mean, again, early on, improvement. Okay, that's weird. All right, best season yet. Okay, we're down. Best season yet. And then you're down again. But the Breeze have missed the playoffs again. The Airmen are playoff bound. As Cade Cunningham wins another league MVP, and it wasn't even close in terms of whether or not he deserved it. Herb Dixon finished top 10 in points per game, but getting hurt did not help. Arvidas Novak was Rookie of the Year for the Cleveland Cavs. Sixth Man of the Year, Robert Benjamin for the Lakers. Defensive Player of the Year was Giannis again. Most Improved, Herbert. Coach of the Year, Mike Budenholzer. First team All-NBA, Herb Dixon, despite missing time due to injury. First team All-NBA for the second time in his career, which is incredible. First time since his rookie season. The all-rookie team did feature your guard, Sean Humphreys, despite playing from a depth role. First team All-NBA. Second team All-NBA had Mitch Steele and Lambros Bilitis. So it is Utah versus Houston, Minnesota versus Memphis. On the eastern side, Washington, Atlanta, Brooklyn, and Orlando. And the playoffs are set. So it'll be Clippers and Rockets, Mavericks and Nuggets, Spurs and Kings. Oh my God, Sacramento made the playoffs. Portland and Utah. And in the East, it is Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Omaha against Chicago, and Boston against Washington is the matchup blocked by the webcam. To look at the regular season stats for you guys, Lothar, Kramer, Reaver, I'm at least going to go through the draft, so, God, what, 115, 130 before I switch over? Because Madden was a shit show tonight, we're going to get a lot of F1 in there. Lothar Kramer was your leading scorer with 19 points a game. Charlie Monk, I don't have the COD beta downloaded, I have to do it later. Charlie Haynes, Vlad Lekic. I mean, again, nobody averaging over 20 points. The problem is, again, you don't have that one guy yet that can take over. And if your depth doesn't score, then yeah, it's, you know, you're boned. I mean, Monk, we could do our two-player career mode. We could. Your rebound leader. Like, Horace Keefe averages 8 rebounds a game. Herb Dixon averages 14. In case you need a difference maker there. Lekic with 5 assists. Lekic is getting more assists than your guards, for God's sakes. And more steals as a power forward. And then for the Airmen, I mean, again, Herb Dixon averaging a double-double. Bledsoe still did very well once I moved him over to power forward. Craze, it depends on how many people we have. I mean, if there are people who have F1 on Xbox, I'm down to play some lobbies tonight. If need be. And again, Baxter, 15 points. Steele and Bilitis really screwed up their point per game average. You know? They really did. Yeah, I mean, Herb's just a beast. So, again, a very, very disappointing season. Swift Fox, what's going on? How are you? No other way to put it. An incredibly disappointing season for you guys as you missed the playoffs yet again. You've still never made it. And I'm back in the playoffs. So, again, I'm going to quick sim this until we get to, like, really nervy games. We take on the Chicago Bulls. And we'll see how good they are. And it is Herb Dixon against Herb Burt. They have Herbert Burton, Kobe White, Cameron Thomas, Miles Bridges, DeAndre Hunter, Moses Moody. I should win this series. I should win this series. That said, my game plan for this matchup is gonna be what it always is. Also, somehow Belidis didn't stay as my starter. Gonna drop the bench depth down to 8 and ride our best players. So Olich can go out, swap Belidis, Snow, and same thing. We're still running the rookies. Steele will be in as well. So then aside from that, I mean, O'Brien as the top guard. How was O'Brien in the regular season? A 13 and a 6. All right, Page has earned the backup guard spot over Eddie O. Olich was a 16 and a 3. Yeah, it's definitely Page. Gooden obviously gets the other power, or Gooden's going to be behind Sita. Which means we're looking at Snow, Thomas. Snow, a 10 and a 6. Thomas. All right, it'll be Kenny Snow. That gets my depth minutes. So we're going to play Herb, Bledsoe. We're going to play these starters a lot. Live or die with the starters. We'll get the time in there for the others. Solid generation players. Indeed, we only use drafted players. All right. Well, let's see what my team can do. I still made the playoffs despite adding Belidis and Steele into the mix. Let's see what the boys can do against this Bulls team. Again, it was a direct head-to-head challenge. It's already over. We wanted to see if you guys, what you guys could do and how my players would still perform. And so far, it hasn't been great news for you guys. But game 1 against Chicago. The Bulls do grab the lead. And the Bulls are going to win this. Jesus. Just a steady, steady pace of points. And they went at 134 to 115. Herb with a double-double, 30 points, 14 rebounds. Bledsoe, Belidis were solid. Who did they have? Oh, man. Wow, they had 4 players with 20 points. They got a little bit of extra depth scoring, and we just couldn't compete with it. Also, Herbert, 20 points, 14 rebounds. So, the Bulls storm back to take game 1. See what happens in game 2. Like I said, unless I end up making a conference final or an NBA final again, I'm not going to go too in-depth with the Sims unless it's an elimination game. And we win 107 to 102. So we tied this series up. 36 points, 20 rebounds for Herb Dixon. Really carried it. Nobody else had over 20 points. Very surprising. Whereas Thomas was the only guy to break 20 points for the Bulls. So, pretty big win there. We'll go to game 3. So the series shifts to Chicago. And the Bulls are going to run us out of town. 132 to 94. Dixon, another double-double. But the depth scoring just wasn't there. And again, we know this. If Bledsoe doesn't show up in a playoff game, we're boned. Whereas Thomas had 34 points. Very worrisome here. Both of our losses haven't been close. It's game number 4. And the Bulls continue to have that consistency of just going on these massive runs. And they win at 118 to 111, so I am in danger of losing in the first round for the second year in a row. Double-doubles for Dylan Bledsoe and Herb Dixon. But it just hasn't happened here, unfortunately. Honestly, it's kind of shocking that we're losing these games the way that we are. Belidis has a cut on his head. We'll leave him in. Desperation. I mean, again, you could say we're not going to the bench enough, and that could be true. Baxter hasn't been cutting it. Belidis hasn't been cutting it. Unfortunately, a lot of the younger guys that we're trying to entrust aren't getting it done. So we're gonna turn it over to the old guard and see what they can do. That's our best bet at this stage. Turn it over to the old guard Let's see what they can do. Honestly, Belitas, I hate to tell you, steal as well. I'm not going to be able to promise you boys any minutes here. Definitely need to figure something out here. Sita has been pretty damn good. So let's get good in a little bit of time. Good and Snow and Baxter on the bench. Doubt that's what we keep the minutes to. And we're just going to run Bledsoe and Dixon until the wheels fall off. Backs against the wall here. This would be a pretty disappointing first round exit. But again, I turn it over to the veterans to try and help keep our season alive, and we just got nothing for Chicago here. That's it, 113 to 106. Bulls knock us out in 5 games. Herb with another double-double, but unfortunately, just wasn't enough. Veterans as well didn't necessarily save us. Eddie O'Brien was trash despite the 14 assists. So that's 2 first-round exits in a row. We got swept by the Pistons last year. We lose in 5 this year to Chicago. Starting to wonder if I'll ever get back to a championship round at this point. I mean, Herb averaged 27 points in those 5 games. Bledsoe with 21. The depth scoring just didn't show up. The veterans couldn't really pick up the slack that the youngsters like Steele and Belitas kind of left behind. It was a year where I tried to emphasize letting my young players take over. But it backfired a little bit. It did backfire a little bit towards the end. As the Clippers beat the Rockets, the Mavs beat the Nuggets, San Antonio sweeps Sacramento, Portland beats Utah, Detroit beats Atlanta in 5, Philly survives Cleveland in 7, and Boston beat Washington in 6. So it's LA and Dallas, Portland, San Antonio, Detroit, Philly, Boston, and Chicago. As the Clippers beat Dallas, San Antonio beats Portland, Philly knocks out Cade Cunningham and the Pistons, the defending world champions, in 7 games, and Chicago beats Boston in 7. So the Clippers and Spurs, 76ers and Bulls, the conference final. And the Chicago Bulls make it all the way to the NBA final as they beat Philly in 7. God damn. And the Clippers beat the Spurs. So we know what the Bulls look like already. What do the Clippers look like? Well, needless to say, if the Clippers lose this, they should be embarrassed. Let's see what Luka Doncic can do. My last 2 first-round knockouts were teams that went to the finals. That's true, and if the Bulls win, then my last 2 first-round exits have been at the hands of the defending champions. But the Clippers win it in 7. The Bulls went to 7 against the Clippers in the finals as Luka Doncic wins Finals MVP. Averaging a double-double, almost a triple-double. He needed 2 more rebounds a game. So Luka and his new digs in LA. They finally win a title. Almost lost to the champions in back-to-back seasons. As Doncic now. That's his first NBA title. He had to leave Dallas to finally win. But Luka Doncic is finally an NBA champion. Long time coming. Long time coming. So that's it for another season. I'm struggling to get back to a finals and get another title. You guys are struggling to just even make the playoffs as Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, and company retire. Pascal Siakam, Andrew Wiggins, Shake Milton. Oh, my boy, Neil Red retired. Still the worst draft pick of any one of us so far. But he is an NBA champion. Never forget. Never forget. Oh, Taco's gone. No. Never won an award. Taco Fall's gone. Jerry Daniel was a random scrub player for me, so that's not a big deal. All right. Staff retirements. Oscar Fleming. Yeah, whatever. Nobody real. Hall of Fame inductees: Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal. Yeah, it's a shame you can't click on their player card from here. Let's take a look. Jersey retirements. Anthony Davis has his number retired not only by the Lakers, but by the Pelicans. Beal's number retired by the Wizards. Zach LaVine's number retired by the Bulls after 13 years. League meetings. We have a new rule. All games will have 4 timed quarters in regulation, and 13 players from each conference will now be named to the All-Star game. 4 timed quarters in regulate. What does that even mean? All games will have 4 timed quarters in regulation. No overtime is what Day is saying. That means you can draw. The draw is back, baby. No overtimes. Fuck it. All right. Well, hey, we let the rules pass. Into the draft lottery we go, chat. As your Honolulu Breeze. The Timberwolves have the 10th pick from you. I don't know why they have your pick, but needless to say, we'll be trading back for it. The clock doesn't stop for whistles. That would also be nice. I have no idea why they have your pick. It's not like I signed anybody. That's really weird. But obviously, we'll make sure you get it back. That is really weird. I have no idea why you guys don't have it. It's the Clippers, the NBA champions, have the 16th pick. The Grizzlies at 15. They stay. 18th lottery selection all time. They have not recovered from losing in the finals to me. Given our draft history, do we really want it? There. Did the game freeze? Okay. 14th pick, the Warriors. Stay at 14. They had the 4th overall pick last year. Pick number 13, the Orlando Magic. Stay at that point. PlayStation, Xbox. We're on Xbox. 26th lottery pick all time. Jesus. Pick number 12, the Milwaukee Bucks. And they stay. 19th lottery pick of all time. Currently there was a protected pick. Pick number 11. Will it be the Warriors again? Yes, it will be. So it's their own pick, and of course the previous pick was from Brooklyn. And then here is where we want to see this. Apparently the Timberwolves have your... Oh my god, you guys moved up. The Breeze have jumped from 10th into the top 4. Holy shit, you guys actually won. You might not have gotten the number 1 pick, but you actually won. That's the biggest victory you've ever had in almost 10 years. The Kings stay at number 8. Okay. Previously from OKC. Pick number 7, Charlotte. The Pelicans have it. Again, I have no idea how Minnesota ended up with your draft pick. Not a clue. Maybe I accidentally added it in when I was trading to get somebody back, but I doubt it. Pick number 5. Will it be Miami? AI trades. AI trades should be off. 15th lottery pick of all time. So here we go, chat. Let's see where you're picking. It's projecting the Hornets at 4. And it'll be the Breeze. So you guys do move up from 6 to 10. And now it's just showing you as having the pick. Okay. I have no idea why it showed Minnesota with your pick. The Pacers will pick at 3. I'm so confused. Apparently you never lost the pick. Apparently you never lost the... I'm so confused. I don't know. I'm breaking every franchise mode I touch tonight. The Hornets have the second pick, which means that the number 1 overall pick, I believe, is going to the Lakers. Indeed it is. So the Lakers get another number 1 pick. But bottom line is, bottom line is you guys move up from 10 to 4. No idea why it showed Minnesota with your pick. No clue. I'll be picking 27th. Weird as shit, man. I don't even know anymore. But the draft is here. Let's do this. The Lakers. Number 1. I wouldn't have put a protected pick on the thing, dude. I don't know. We'll figure it out down the road, I guess. It's Kobe Farrell. Go figure. So the Lakers drafted a Kobe. Kobe Farrell to the Lakers. Charlotte at 2. Davor Alanichev out of Russia. And pick number 3, the Indiana Pacers. Trade the pick. No, they don't. They make it Lambros Amanatidis out of Greece. So, let's see who you guys get to pick, because this game was losing its mind. All right, so at the top, 78 overall, Jeffrey Neal. Again, keep track of who you might want to pick. We'll add all the names to the poll. It's your choice, chat. Jeffrey O'Neal. All NBA to starter comp. 7'1" center. 78 overall. You have J.R. Blackwell. Starter. Not fully scouted. I mean, JR is really good defensively. Obviously, O'Neal looks a bit better. William Butler, another center. You know he's a 76. Hell of a rebounder. Decent mid-range shot. All-star starter. All-NBA is lower than all-star. No, All-NBA means it's fucking best, man. Pretty much. The only thing higher than All-NBA is Hall of Fame. Scott McDonald. Good inside scoring. Starter, though, for a point guard, which is pretty rough. Dexter Lowry, All-NBA to starter. Not too bad. He's 21. Looks like he's going to need some work, though. Antonio Jackson, the attributes aren't looking great. All-star to starter. Eric Richardson, not bad, but still a bit of a project at 20. Starter. Stephen Barkley. Good mid-range shot, good defense and rebounding. Starter. Ruben Turner at point guard. Good shooter, good playmaker. All-star bench, though, for Ruben. Freeman has a couple of Bs there at 22 years old. Point guard, all-star starter. And Alexander Kiba, all-star starter as well. I'm going to sort by potential really quick. And we have 2 A pluses apparently for you guys. So you got to look at the stats. That would be RJ Goodwin at 20 years old. Ceiling does say Hall of Fame. 20 years old, the stats, he's a project. Great physical player. And then there's Josh Howard at point guard. Decent stats, great three-point shooter, All-NBA to bench. Also pretty boomer bust at 23 years old. Chad Rogers, good mid-range shooting and playmaking. He's all-star to bench. Andre Burton, All-NBA to bench. 19-year-old project. And Matthew Wright Foreman, also all-star to bench. Frederick Siravitas, I'm guessing. All-NBA to bench. And then it drops down to a B. Only other thing to look at is who's projected to go. And Josh Howard, who we looked at, listed at second by Draft Express and 2K, third by NBA.com. Has 8 badges at 23. Does look boom or bust, though. Then there's Goodwin. Was the Hall of Fame to bench. Dexter Lowry's All-NBA to starter. Alexander Kiba. Chad Rogers is all-star to bench. Wright Foreman's there as well. All right. Well, I'm seeing a lot of RJ Goodwin. I'm also seeing some O'Neal. All right. The line is in the chat. Mention names under the line as to who you'd like to see on the poll in terms of who to be drafted. Seeing a lot of RJ. Seeing some O'Neal. I don't even remember where the hell that Burton guy was. Ah, there's Andre Burton, okay. Andre Burton, RJ Goodwin. Whole lot of RJ. And again, there's Jeffrey O'Neal at the top. Vizix also mentioned Howard, who was up there as well. All right, going once, going twice. Those will be your 4 players to decide between, chat. So, in terms of who you're taking, you have RJ Goodwin, the 20-year-old. You get a look at the attributes. Hall of Fame ceiling, apparently. Very boom or bust for RJ Goodwin. You have Josh Howard. So you get a look at the attributes. Not bad. Not bad at all. All NBA to bench for Josh Howard at point guard. Andre Burton was mentioned as well, 19 years old. All NBA to bench as a power forward. And the last one was based off of the highest overall, and it was Jeffrey O'Neal, who was all NBA to starter at center. One of these 4 will be your 4th overall pick. Poll is in chat. You might have to refresh the stream to get it to pop up, but it will be one of those 4 guys. Who will it be? Right now, it looks like a 2-horse race between Goodwin and O'Neal. Very much a 2-horse race between Goodwin and O'Neal. Again, Goodwin. The scouts are undecided on him. Jeffrey O'Neal projected to go middle of the round, if not late of the round. Late in the round. Tough to tell. It's O'Neal's potential. I mean, again, you can't be sure, but it's showing up as either a B+ or a B. Tough to say. O'Neal's running away with it. Will it be O'Neal? Or will it be RJ Goodwin? It's within 4 votes. This one's probably going to go down to the wire here. I mean, you guys do need the best player that you can possibly get. Question is, who is it? As we have about 30 seconds worth of time. Who will it be? Quick foot, no worries, man. Take it easy. I didn't really have time on the fly to be like, hey, this is a basketball. You know? Hope you understand. It's very close. 1 vote separating RJ Goodwin from Jeffrey O'Neal. As Day hits us up with the 3 months. And O'Neal wins it by 2 votes. By 2 votes. Jeffrey O'Neal is heading out to Hawaii. Jeffrey O'Neal, the newest member of the Breeze. Skip ahead to my pick because I don't expect anybody to be left. And then, of course, we'll see where other players happen to go later on. So for me, this is a little bit tough. Yeah, anybody you guys were looking at is definitely gone at this point. So in terms of overall, Earl Torres is all NBA to bench. All-star to starter for Damian Freeman. We'll add him. We'll add him to my little short list of players. William Butler, all-star to starter. Okay, I mean, I got a couple of decent options so far, just off of rating. John Bishop's 23, starter bench, no thank you. Starter bench, starter bench, starter bench, whole lot of starter bench. All-star bench, oh boy. All-NBA, boom or bust with Connor Monroe. Starter bench. Whole lot of starter bench. Okay, at least off of overall. That's who I have faith in. Unless there's somebody super late down the board, and there simply won't be. Off of potential. Lou Bass. Also at point guard. All-star bench, Gordon Meeks. I got options for sure. All-NBA or bench, Elton Brewer. A lot of guards. Henry Callaway, All-NBA or bench. A lot of guards available at this stage. Connor Monroe. Chase Nance, Ethan McKnight, also all NBA to bench as a big man, a power forward. All-star bench, very young Slovenian Gorak. Earl Torres, okay, we do have Earl's name down already. John Bishop. All right, and then just outright off of where people were projected to be drafted. So Meeks right now, nobody seems to know. Brewer with 7 badges, Freeman with 5, 6 for Bishop. That's a tough call. Cameron Robertson. Name I didn't even have written down. I don't know enough about him. Jamal Ball. And Georgi Ponescu. Yeah, this is rough, man. There's Gordon Meeks, who does look pretty well developed. Decent shooter, good defender, good playmaker. At center, the only guy I really liked was Butler. Some good shot, decent defense. There's Emmanuel Parabin. Can really only play defense. That's it. All-star starter for Butler. Potential's looking rough, but he's not fully scouted. God, you guys had a much easier decision, as you typically do. And a power forward. It was Ethan McKnight that I was looking at, or Zagoraj. Both are 18. They're honestly about even. Probably give it to McKnight in that regard. Aside from that, other power forwards who are like super well developed. Not really seeing them. Lewis Powers, maybe. And then at forward, I only had one guy, and that was Torres, who is a decent shooter, but not anything like outrageous. He's 19 though, which is promising. Shooting guard, I mean, God, who the hell do you go for here? Who the hell do you even go for? Again, between Brewer and Meeks. It's all boomer bust players, man. Callaway apparently all NBA, but I don't trust that because he's 23 and the attributes aren't that good. Alex Anderson's 19, decent shooter, but the high-end potential's apparently not there. God, I wish my team sucked again so I could get easy choices. And point guard-wise, I mean, Lou Bass if I trust it, but the only thing Lou Bass has, I mean, decent playmaking, and he's got a three-point shot. Bishop doesn't look that bad. Decent shooting, good playmaking, good physicality. When he's 23 and doesn't have a high-end ceiling. Tyrone Hill at 22. I don't know enough about him to even know if that's legit. Well. Looking at my team, I think there's pretty much no denying I have to go for biggest need at this point. And for that reason, I'm going to take the big man, William Butler, out of whatever school he went to, but I'm taking the big man, William Butler. Arizona. Oh, Billy Butler. They didn't really tell me much about him. For you guys, it is pick number 41. And, I mean, in terms of who's left, this is going to be very tough, but let's do what we do. We'll start off with known overall. Honestly, we'll start off by looking at who the hell has potential that you actually have information on, because anything below 50% won't give you the comparisons. So in Randall Morgan, starter bench, starter bench, starter bench, all-star for Kursoff. Power forward, so I'll write down that name for you. Starter bench, all NBA, so Ponescu is still there. Decent boomer bust player, perhaps. We'll get a better look at him in a minute. Connor Monroe is also still there. I was debating whether or not these two guys were worth it, but they are both still there as being half-decent options. And I think when you have a starter bench option like Abraham Keller, you should probably rule them out. Starter bench, starter bench, starter bench, starter bench, starter bench. All the NBA bench, Elton Brewer. Another shooting guard. Starter bench, starter bench, starter bench. All NBA bench, Henry Callaway. So that's 3 shooting guards that are very boom or bust, but could pay off. There's an all-star in Chase Nance. We'll add him to the list. That's 2 power forwards to consider. Starter bench, Ethan McKnight, who I was considering taking. He was my power forward. My lone power forward I knew about was there. Another power forward in Zagorak. So that's 3 shooting guards, 2, or actually now 4 power forwards that could be worth it. I believe Zagorak's at the top of the list in terms of who you know. In terms of who's projected to be drafted, Elton Brewer is there. He is the highest player left according to Draft Express. Only he and Monroe were projected to go in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. Keller was fringe. So maybe that puts Brewer and Monroe ahead. Dino Bagaric was also projected. Again, Brewer projected to be in the first round. And then NBA had Brewer. I mean, Brewer's the only guy left that was like unanimous to be taken early. In terms of known potential, Brewer is also tied with Monroe with the highest known potential left. I mean, I think if you're going for a guard, clearly it's Brewer over Monroe. There's McKnight at power forward. Again, he's 18 years old. All NBA to bench, complete boom or bust, as is Brewer, who is 20. You get a look at Zagorak as well as he compares to Knight. There was Keller that we weren't so worried about. So, again, if you're going point guard, it's Connor Monroe. He's 20 years old, good physicality, decent playmaking, pretty good playmaking ability. That's about it, though. Everything else needs work. At shooting guard, I mean, you're pretty much looking at Georgi Panescu, who is a decent shooter, and that's it. There's Brewer, who's 2 years younger, and is a bit almost just as, well developed. He also has the height on Panescu. And then there was Callaway, who's 23. Looks like he needs some work. And then the only other options, really, were at power forward with Kursoff, as you see how he compares to somebody like Nance. I mean, Nance has the heads up on him. Kursoff's a year younger. And then there was the other comparison of McKnight and Zagorak. All of these guys under 20. Chat, what's it going to be? Is it Brewer? No poll needed? Or are there other names that people are digging? Is it Elton Brewer with this pick? You did draft a big man in round 1. Is it Elton Brewer? Looks like it is. Elton Brewer will be joining the team. See how well you guys did. Elton Brewer out of South Florida. All right, most talented prospect coming out of high school. An enigma. Could be a good sign for a high potential. And for the Airmen, pick number 58. In terms of who I have information on, let's find out. So, Panescu is still available. And he might honestly be my best option. He might be my only option. There's Keller, who I just don't have enough information on. I think it's probably going to have to be Panescu. Or it's Keller. At 21 is a decent shooter with a half-decent potential. At this point, you go boom or bust. I don't necessarily need a guard, but does have lights-out shooting. So I will be taking, it's fairly easy. Took a big man in the first round as well. We will take Georgi Panescu with this second round pick out of Fresno State by way of Romania. Not sure what caused Panescu to slide. So they're hinting that we both got steals in round 2. We'll see if that's the case. O'Neal, 78 overall at 22 years old for you guys. The question is potential. But O'Neal provides some pretty damn good depth down in the paint for you guys. Not bad at all. And I mean, the question is potential. But in terms of overall, R.J. Goodwin was a 74, 2 years younger. The big question's potential. As it always is. As the Airmen ended up with William Butler. 75 overall at 19 years old. The big question's potential. But hot dog. Whew. Oh, baby. I'm happy with that. I'm real happy with that. I've continued to draft well even once I've become a playoff team. Parabin was a 74 at 19. We'll see what the potentials end up being because they change heading into the preseason. In the second round, you ended up with Elton Brewer, 70 overall at 20 years old. The big question again is potential, but I imagine he'll be a project for you down in developmental. Elton McKnight was a 71 at 18 years old. Look at some of the other guys. Kursoff was a 73 at 19 years old. Monroe, by the way, was a 73 at 20. Lucas Agorach, 70 overall at 18 years old. Panescu, 71 at 22. Keller was a 71 at 21. So not too bad. Hardly like a brutal pick compared to anybody that was left on the board. I really didn't have that much information, so we'll see. I mean, I don't think either of us were necessarily brutal, you know? As I'll sign my players, you can sign yours. Go to the team options. Again, as Campbell is leaning towards being a free agent. Lothar Kramer also ended up with concussion issues down the stretch, which is pretty rough. Again, even if someone like Campbell's like, I want to leave, we're allowed to try to keep them. So qualifying offers for the boys. Brings us to the free agent moratorium here, where Doncic and Cunningham might end up being on the open market. So, cap hold on Belita, Snow, Mullins, Thomas, and Gooden. I want to hold on to. And for you guys, Holloway might end up being a free agent as well. That's crazy. Again, try to hold everybody that you can. Trade to get players back. Alright. So, into free agency then. Actual free agency, and we'll see who went where. So I'll have to rebuild the teams. Cade Cunningham leaves the East and goes West. Doncic heads East, though. But I'll take having to deal with Luka over having to deal with Cade Cunningham because of that 3-year difference. Fuck that shit. Cunningham is gone. Thank God. Also, Holloway stays out West. He goes from the Spurs to the Mavs. Problem for me, DeAndre Ayton also went to the East, and Lonzo Ball went East. Fuck me. All right. John Collins to the West. Like, that was a decent amount of movement. Trae Young's now on the Raptors. Bottom line is, we're both fucked. Like, both of us are fucked. It's not as if any one of us has an easier path. I'm just glad I don't have to deal with Cade Cunningham anymore. That's all. Player progression is where we're heading next. Let's see what we got. As Humphreys is up by 5 for you guys already. Kramer up by 1. Lekic up by 1. Leslie up by 2. Westbrook up by 4. Interesting. O'Neal didn't improve at all, but he was out of the draft. Of course, we expected it. Lyles to 77. And that's it for the moment. For the Airmen, Herb apparently dropped a point. Baxter's up by 1. Bledsoe declines. That could really make lineup changes for me. Interesting. Seed up by 1. Steele and Barea both got better. Belitas gets better. Eddie O'Brien's fallen off a cliff. Okay. We are both very, very much due for some major changes to our rosters. I mean, there are players that obviously won't be able to stick around anymore. It's just not going to happen. As it is, we have too many players. I mean, like last year, you guys had to get rid of Wen Lee. So, this is going to be interesting. All right? This is going to be interesting. In terms of who you guys decide stays and who goes. I'll shout out those in chat who are like, hey, maybe F1 tonight on Xbox. If you're still here, let me know. Otherwise, we'll set up this team and do that, or we'll go play my team. One or the other. So, here's the big question. All right, cool. Looks like we'll do that then. So let's set up this team really quickly, and because that way at least I know who you guys want on the team, and then we can figure out the rest from there, and we'll switch over. I'm gonna have to change the wheel from being plugged into the PC to the Xbox anyway. So yeah, really quickly then. At point guard, Humphries, Westbrook are good. Peyton Pritchard's obviously not yours. Let's go find Tommy Campbell. We're gonna check potentials in full once I have everybody on your team. So give me a minute. Because right now you don't have the full outlook of everyone who should be on the team. So Tommy Campbell ended up going to Boston. We'll get him guys back for you by giving up Otis Williamson, who's not even yours. No Jeffing tonight. Apparently not, Reaver. I mean, you still could, though, because I am still going to, be on automatic. Or not on automatic, manual. So at point guard, it's Campbell, Humphries, and Westbrook as your 3. Westbrook with an A- potential. That is your current natural point guard setup. Again, ignore Pritchard. He's a random auto signing. It might not be the worst choice in the world to put Tommy Campbell in a reduced role. I think you guys should be running with Westbrook and Humphries consistently. Whether at point guard, shooting guard, or not, that's a tough choice. At shooting guard, Elton Brewer's up to a B+, Lulu is a B-. We need to get Travis Bradley and Charlie Haynes back to get you guys a look at who happened to be at guard this past season. So Charlie Haynes looks like he went to the Sixers, and he did. And we'll give up Peyton Pritchard to get him back. And then as well, Travis Bradley, who has been a great depth scorer for you guys, but this might have to be his last season with you as well. He ended up on Milwaukee. You actually don't have any other fill-in players. So, at shooting guard, you do have 30-year-old Travis Bradley. He's a 77 to about a 78, 79 at forward. But you factor in who you already have at shooting guard with Haynes, Lulu, and Brewer. Brewer's probably a good shout to go down to the G League. But knowing that you have Humphries, Westbrook, and Campbell, is it official to say that Travis Bradley's out? I mean, you could bring Bradley back and say, kick Lulu to the cam, but Lulu's younger, right? He is a defensive specialist, though. Bradley's more offensive. All right, it looks like the preemptive move. It's not officially official yet, but it looks like Travis Bradley is off of this team. So again, shooting guard, that's what you have at the moment. It's not final. At forward, Kramer, Todor, Wesley, and Lambert. Wesley still holding on to that A rating. I don't know what the hell you guys are going to do there. Wesley has to be the starter. So what does that mean for Todor? What does that mean for Lothar Kramer? What does that mean for Haynes? What does that mean for Campbell, Humphries, and Westbrook? You know? It's a great problem to have. And again, Lambert's probably a good shout to go down to the G League, but who the hell do you have as the starter? It's got to be Wesley. You don't have to get rid of anybody on roster right now. That's not required. But you got to think about who the hell the starter's going to be. At power forward, you have Vlad Lekic. There's also Trent Griffin, who you know is just kind of a low 70 depth option. And then at center, it's Keefe, O'Neal, and Lyles. So obviously guys like Trent Griffin and Jonathan Banks are kind of on the chopping block as well, potentially. But here's the problem. By the way, O'Neal is an A-. 22-78 and an A-. So, here's the deal, right? You got Lekic at a B. You can't really afford to move Kramer to power forward, right? Because even if you say, oh, Wesley small forward, move Kramer down to power forward, then you have to deal with Kramer, Lekic, Keefe, and O'Neal should have a starting spot this year. I mean, you could put him in the G League for a season because he has no offensive ability whatsoever, for the most part. Like, what do you do with Jeffrey O'Neal? Do you risk putting him down in the G League, or do you just make him the starter and say, fucking go for it? So you guys have a hell of a problem to answer for here. Who's your starting five? Who is your starting five? Again, you have Campbell, Humphries, Westbrook. Are straw polls still broken? Let me see if straw polls are still broken. I want to test this out really quickly. Apparently not. I think straw polls are still broken. Son of a bitch. Yeah, straw polls are still broken. I don't know. How the hell is their website still broken? They're such a popular site. I mean, again, what do you guys do? What do you guys do, right? Honestly, let me see if I can make a poll here. Starting five. So, Campbell. You got Humphries at point guard. Westbrook. Now what I'm going to do is list them with their primary positions. I'm going to have it be multiple choice. And we'll see. I'm just going to say, vote for the five that you think should be the starters. Right? And we'll try to make it work. So your options is, I'm only going to count in O'Neal, not Lyles. Your options for a starting five. Campbell, Humphries, Westbrook, Haynes, Lothar Kramer, Todor, Brooke Wesley, Vlad Lekic, Horace Keefe, Jeffrey O'Neal. Only 5 of those players. 5 can be your starting 5. So that is the question then, is what do you do? And let me see if sharing this poll works. Okay. Shout out apparently to fucking poll maker. Links in the chat. Vote for the 5 that you want to see stay on the team, or that you want to have as your starting 5. And we'll still try to organize this as best we can, but it is going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. A little bit of a pain in the ass to, you know, to try and figure that out. See how that's going to happen. Although, honestly, this thing might be glitching out on me too. Oh man. God damn it, I think the poll glitched out. No! Why does straw poll have to be down? You joking me? Let me see. Let me see if I can salvage this. Because otherwise the voting might be pointless. Alright, I think I'm good. I think I salvaged it. I did. Okay, cool. You should vote in chat. I mean, you can't though. It's got to be multiple choice now. That's the problem. So right now, Lekic, Humphries, Keefe, Wesley, and Haynes are the favorites. Interesting. So Lekic looks like he's definitely going to be a starter. Humphries looks like he's definitely going to be a starter. I'm honestly surprised that there's still support for Keefe. I know he's your best option at center, but, you know. So right now, I mean, starting 5, Lekic, Keefe, Wesley, Humphries, and Haynes. And Haynes has votes. I think you guys have your 5. Unless there's a major change to the voting, it looks like Haynes is going to make it. I think we got it locked in, chat. So the starting 5 this year looks like it is going to be Humphries, Haynes, Wesley, Lekic, and Keefe. So Campbell will likely be your 6th man, but Campbell's out of the starting 5. Kramer, Todor, Westbrook. I mean, that's some talent, man. That is some talent. Westbrook has to start. I mean, that's not how people voted, though, man. That's not how people voted, and the information was there. So, in terms of your 2 G League spots, if Westbrook isn't going to start, you could drop him down to the G League. You could. But also, again, Brewer, Elton Brewer, has a really good shout to be a G League option this year, as does Quinn Lambert. So, I mean, it's between Brewer with his B+, Lambert at a B-, and O'Neal could start in the G League as well. I mean, shit, you could even send down Phil Lyles, but he's 24, it's probably not worth it. So I'd say your 3 best options, since Wesley is starting: Brewer, Westbrook, Lambert, and O'Neal. Do you want to leave these guys on the bench? 2 out of 4 have to go down to the G League. What do you think? What do you think? Honestly, we'll throw it to another poll. Fuck it. So again, it will be multiple choice. Vote for who you'd want to see sent down. Only 2 can go down, if I'm not mistaken. I'll put Westbrook up there. We can make sure he has playing time as a starter. Elton Brewer and his B+, very, very tough for him to get any starting time. Lambert at a B-, and then O'Neal, again, A-. Can still make sure he gets time, but he won't be the starter. So, again, it will be multiple choice. And let's see what we got. So the link to that is now in chat. Vote for who you want to send down out of those 4 players. And then offline, now that I know you're starting 5, I'll do my best to get this lineup set. And then that way you guys can hopefully make the goddamn playoffs next year. Like, my God, if you don't. Alright, looks like Brewer and O'Neal are the early shouts. Brewer and O'Neal are the early shouts to get dropped, keeping Lambert and Westbrook on roster for the season. And the link is in chat here. So you go for the old refresh option. Brewer stages a strong comeback. Lambert has more votes than O'Neal now. That's fair. Let's see. Gonna give it about 15 more seconds or so. I think that's fair. It looks like it'll be Brewer and Lambert that get sent down. Basically waiting until the clock changes to the next minute of our lives. And I think it's 3, 2, 1. There we go. Let's refresh. O'Neal, by 1 vote, finishes above Lambert. It's official. Elton Brewer and Jeff O'Neal will be going down to the G League. O'Neal will be going down. Chat has decided. So the one move to make Since we're sending people down, again, that does mean that Travis Bradley can come back, although I actually don't have anybody signed to be able to trade him. Let's go to Griffin instead. As expected, he is a free agent. I think, honestly, might as well just bring back Jonathan Banks as well, because it'll give you the depth down low. And he's a free agent. At least, yeah, it'll be easier to pick up. So the interesting move, Jeff O'Neal. I would have made him my starter over Horace Keefe. But Jeff O'Neal will be down in developmental for the season. But yeah, I definitely would have had him as my starting center and said, Keefe can fuck off. But the chat hath spoken. And we have a full roster, so there will be no Jonathan Banks. So again, your starting five has been decided. I will do my best, of course, to get everything set up off stream. But of course, again, it will be Humphreys, Haynes, Wesley Lekic, and Keefe. And then we will do our best to make sure that Westbrook still gets a decent amount of time. Obviously, you know, you bump up the bench depth to 10. And then all of a sudden, the only guys missing time are Lulu and Griffin. So it'll definitely be a 10-man bench. And again, the only other move there really is that. I guess the argument is Westbrook the sixth man over Campbell. But Westbrook will still get some playing time this year. And again, God help you guys if you don't make the playoffs. Really quickly, just the potential of my players since I haven't looked. Berea's a B-, Weaver's a B-. Ponescu ended up being a B. Not bad, Georgie. And at center, Butler ended up being a C+. So no home runs for me in terms of potential, but I do get some much-needed depth. And obviously, I'm going to have to put this this roster back together. But yeah, you guys definitely got the better pick. Check RJ. I forgot what team he went to. But if we go to all players and look at point guards, a lot of young point guards out of the draft. I mean, if we look at the top potentials as well, John Fleming at an A-. RJ was a forward. Okay. Well, if we look at the top, he was an A. 21 years old, 74 overall, A to the Sacramento Kings. One of the top, he is the top small forward project in the NBA right now. Next closest is like Dexter Lowry on the Hawks. RJ Goodwin ended up being the real deal. Actually, really quickly, so again, in terms of point guards, the best project point guard in the NBA right now, Dario Dragic at 24, John Fleming at 22 for the Knicks. Bobby Dixon's up there for the Lakers, still at an A-. All these guys are at A- here. The best shooting guard is easily Davor Alaninchev, who was just taken in the draft. A+, 78 overall at 19 years old. I'm pretty sure he was the number 1 or number 2 pick. I think he was the second. Yeah, he was the second overall pick. Holy shit. Top forward, of course, we already know, is now Goodwin. Top power forward project, Casey O'Neal is an A-. Boris Chapman's an A-. Tracy Calloway, Antonio Jackson. There are a lot of good young power forwards. And then at center, I mean, Dustin Toscano, and an A-. You have Dawkins, Herb Burtz. Herb Dixon will be here as well. So that'll do it. Again, we will be ready for a new season tomorrow. I'll get that team, both teams set up. As good as that forward's going to be, to be honest, you guys really needed someone like O'Neal at center. So, but it's tough. It's tough to see someone like that go to the wayside.